So my name is Justin, and I was with R2, so I have taken it upon myself to collectively represent R2, being the only R2 person here.
Representation.
Exactly. So I've been just kind of listening and just really thinking. As soon as he mentioned that they were going to open up the floor, immediately I had that heartbeat inside myself that was like, okay, I'm going to share something. So just kind of thinking about what would be fitting to share, kind of in addition to what's already been said, And so I'll give a little bit of my personal background, just kind of coming into the program and everything. So it was summer of 2011, and one of my prayers, so I was homeschooled, K through 12, and one of my prayers kind of looking for college was just that, God would give me that sense that, okay, this is the college. And there were a few different colleges I looked at. I looked at Regent University, and then my mom ended up hearing about Rivendell, I guess, on Facebook, and it was like 1 a.m, and so she had this like super emotional moment and everything, and then we talked about it. We talked about it the next morning, and it was that moment where just going through, looking at the videos and reading everything, where it was like, this is it. Like I just knew it was it. And then after that confirmation, we found out like where it was. And so I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, 4 hours from here. And so it was a haul to go up there. It's a shame that it wasn't here sooner, but I'm glad I don't regret any bit of it. And so just some of the ways that benefited me personally, just first of all, I would say probably the community aspect was huge. Never in my life had I experienced that kind of, just that intimate community. And that actually became a vision that God put on my heart for coming back and leaving Rivendell, just wanting this desire to recreate that vision. And so fast forward a little bit to what I'm doing now. I work for a young professionals ministry, and I work for a church leading a young professionals ministry that they didn't previously have. And so the desire was to create kind of an environment for that, and just to have a place similar to this where people could plug into and have a community that is often very much lacking in that age group, kind of the post-college age group. And so that was definitely a big benefit for me. And another thing that was probably the most significant was I really struggled in school. I had a lot of school struggles. Bobby Davis and Gene all know this very well, and they were huge, and just walking alongside me. And that was one of the things about Rivendell specifically that was so impactful, was because never in my life had I had just such, I guess, especially on a collegiate level, to have this valuable education, but then also have such personal interaction was, absolutely huge for me. And their ability to work with me, I was saying, my brain is weird. It doesn't fit in the standard education system. And so having them just have the willingness was absolutely life-changing for me. And I'll share kind of a personal story. It is one of the biggest, I would say, miracles that I've ever experienced in my life. So normally I share kind of like testimonies and things. This comes out as one of the absolute biggest. Is that I didn't do, for a good chunk of the program, I didn't do very well completing assignments. That's an understatement. I didn't do very well completing assignments. And so they were able to connect me with a tutoring program and Linda Mood-Bell, and they were very impactful, very personable, and willing to work with me. And essentially what happened, to make a long story short, they gave me the ability to put a lot of the unfinished assignments in kind of this backward folder, which is extremely unusual and rare for any kind of a college to do, but it absolutely changed my life, because we got to the end of the program. They let me walk with the class, but I hadn't yet graduated. And then I was able to spend the summer after that graduation just simply working on those backwork assignments, and finish every single assignment. And I say that because it's 100%, I attributed 100% to God and just His grace. I mean, it's the most grace I'd ever experienced in my life. And so that was life changing, you know. And so just kind of thinking about everything that I've gained, that was so big. And I owe so much of that just to the heart of Gene and Bobby and Davis, and just them working, just being so passionate about seeing people succeed that they were willing to work with me was monumental. And so finally, just to kind of, the last thing I wanted to say, just in thinking about a lot of this, was just kind of the one thing that I guess God just really put on my heart to share was that there's just, you know, speaking to the students here, you know, and C2 and C3, you guys are like still going, you know, going through the program and everything. It's like, there is something that's really special here. You know, I think it's an understatement to say that there's really, really something absolutely special about what we've gained here and what we are gaining. And so I would say just kind of a challenge for all of us here is, you know, okay, so going through this program and having all of this very valuable information and everything, and then asking ourselves the question, so what are we going to do with this? You know, I love what you know, Bobby mentioned kind of about the culture and everything. That's a huge passion of mine personally, just seeing how the kind of the worldview battle that's going on in our culture and everything, and it's so important to see that and realize that. And so to be able to take the stuff that we're gaining here and to apply that is so, like I would say, never underestimate that. It's just, there's just such a depth of valuable information that I think, and on a knowledge, wisdom, understanding level, experiential level, whatever level it is, there's something very, very profound that, you know, we have. And so a big question for us to ask ourselves is, man, so what's next? You know, kind of what can we do with this? And much of that is simply a matter of trusting God with our futures. But then a lot of it is a matter of commitment from us. And I think one thing that I think about in a program like this is, man, so this is still this is still a small program, you know, but because it's so valuable, how many of the people leaving this program are going to go on to change the world? You know, if just one person, just like a few people, take what we've been given here, it's enough to go out and have something to really, really just revolutionize our culture, our society, and the world. So, but so I just want to just a big thank you to Bobby and to Gene, to Davis and Robert, and just all of you all who've just really poured into my life. And I think we can all just say together just a big thank you from all of us. So thank you.